Welcome to the European Challenge Cup episode of Access All Areas. We've got some big guests coming on later on, but to start with, see how you are like the second fiddle there. To start with, we've got Captain Lewis Ludlow and Player of the Season, Zach Mercer. Zach.
Yeah.
Zach, following your recent highlight video that we saw, a lot of kicks in that one there. Yeah, how has that been received by the squad? Player and Player of the Season by the fans?
No, I think obviously it's amazing. I didn't really think I would have got player, to be honest.
No, neither did I.
I think there's been a few conversations in the change room thinking it's rigged, but I don't mind. I'll take it. But obviously missing 8 games as well at the start of the season wasn't ideal, and obviously then the supporters backing me as well. Yeah, it's been pretty good. I'm really chuffed, and I appreciate it from the players and the supporters.
Lods, I know me being dressed like this makes you feel very uncomfortable, but I've been chasing club deals for you, on behalf of you, to try and keep you in a job.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
How was training today? How have boys kicked on? Good win at the weekend, just gone, but we're not going to focus on the Newcastle game.
No.
How are boys preparing?
It was good. Yeah, it was probably a bit more than we thought, didn't it? It was supposed to be a short session, which, as you know, these sessions ramp up, and
Look excited.
you know what Dom's like. He starts. We're defending 5 rugby balls.
So the ball goes behind.
Yeah, all of a sudden, they've made a 30-metre line break. How, Dom?
Came from nowhere.
Just react. Okay. No, it was good. Really good. It finished brilliantly. Finished really well, and that's it now, isn't it? We're done. So we've got a team run on Thursday, and no more shed days for the year. So they're done.
Things to tick off.
Oh, honestly, that's lovely.
Very importantly, obviously, do you vote for Zach?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's straight face
Straight
line.
in.
That's a tick
straight
box.
Straight in.
That's a tick box exercise.
Straight in.
Not a chance.
I vote for you too, Luz.
Yeah, so we voted for each other. And we've said we both voted for Val as well. We both voted for Val.
A chance you voted for another.
No, I voted for Val.
Not for a back rower.
For Val.
I played more games than Val this year.
Yeah, but he got my vote.
Zach, a lot of boys will be going to Spurs for the first time at the weekend.
Not Zach. Apparently he's played there.
Zach's told
Haven't
boys.
you?
I've seen it. Yeah, I've played there
you've
a couple
been
of
there,
times.
haven't you? Scored there.
Yeah, I had an unbelievable opportunity to represent the Barbarians there, and the stadium's world class. I actually think I'm the only one that's played there. I think there's only Adam Hastings that's actually been there. Barton, so-called Tottenham Hotspurs legend, fan, loves it. Never been.
Older. Never
Yeah.
been.
Never been.
Weird,
So
isn't it?
it's weird. But yeah, no, it's an amazing stadium, and obviously we get the opportunity to run the team run there on Thursday, which will be good for the lads to see it, because honestly, it's arguably, if not the best team I've ever played at.
Loads. It probably, going back to Bilbao final, I think you'd probably have a similar feel walking into the Spurs stadium as going into because it was
That was amazing.
It took the boys by surprise how amazing. At least I think boys know how amazing Tottenham is. Whereas when we arrived in Bilbao, you didn't know what to
it was a
expect,
shock, wasn't it? I think it was because it was such a good stadium, and like probably similar to you, that's probably the best stadium I've played in to this day. Like that Bilbao stadium, and the feeling how it felt, and I think we had a good video. Bar King's Home, obviously.
See what we did there?
Yeah, smart, very good, always on brand.
Yeah.
We had a good video of it on Monday to sort of try and give the boys a little bit of perspective of what's coming. But then, as Zach said, Thursday we can get out there, have a good walk around, see all the facilities, see what's when come Friday we can actually be a bit more relaxed and go out there, and it's just a rugby pitch, isn't it? At the end of the day.
Yeah, it's Greg Laidlaw's old. It's just 100 metres of grass in it, 2 posts at the end, the
Four
miles
white lines,
around
job
it.
done.
Every week you'd say that.
Yeah.
Never made me more calm. Zach, you've played in a few. Again, this is not just teeing Luds up to take the. You have played in a few big finals. What sort of advice would you be giving to, like, I don't know if spoken openly as a group about?
He's spoken.
Yeah, about.
Well,
like,
he knows what he's doing.
Have we spoken as a group for boys who? There's a lot of boys in there who've never played in a final, never played in sort of a game of this magnitude. What's been said this week to those boys to sort of prepare them for? Because I think it's sometimes we can pretend it's just another game. It's not another game, is it?
No, I think that's the right thing you said there, is that you can't treat it as another game. You've got to make sure that this week's special, because it is special. You've got to, these opportunities you get to play at these stadiums, these finals, they're massive. And I feel like I haven't had to say much because the lads understand what's going to come. And I think on Thursday when we get there, I think then a few lads will probably start to get a little bit nervous and understand what's going to happen tomorrow night on the Friday night. And there's some great niggling training today, which is what you want to see. You want to see that because it shows that you want to care and we want to win this. We've done the, as we said, we've done the hard work. We've got to the final. Now it's just 80 minutes, and we're not naive to know what's going to happen. Like, they're a big physical team, but yeah, I think we're in a good place, and yeah, we've got a good experienced group, and I'm looking forward to see what happens.
Luds, Zach touched on it then about big physical pack. It's coming.
Yeah.
All the rest of it. What do we know of the Sharks? What do we know of them? What other than just big pack? What do we expect to see?
They've got a lot of very good individuals. A lot of South African players. A lot of people that have been in big finals, won big games. Ultimately, a few of them have won those double World Cups. So for them, and listening to what they've sort of put out on their social medias and stuff this week, they're sort of looking at it that they're in a European Cup, and there's that area around it that no one thinks they should be in it. So they're sort of taking that chip on the shoulder type thing. And for us, that's sort of, we need to embrace our own thing as as a Gloucester team. We've got a very, very good history in this cup, in this competition. So we want to go out there and do it for this group as well. That's worked. We said just then, I think pretty much every player in the squad has played in this competition this year. So it is really a squad effort from the first game, out into Bleasy and back here through the knockout rounds. So it's a big squad effort for us, and we need to take that on, and that's how we'll confront them.
What is it? Just finish on that point. What is it about this competition? And obviously, as a squad, we like to compete on all fronts. We know that. We'd like to be, in no way are we happy with this. And probably previous years, when we've done well in this competition, we got to finals, and when we won it, it was actually off the back of poor years in the Premiership as well. And what is it that's allowed us to sort of galvanise in this?
I think, I don't know, like what you said, probably a bit more freedom. Like you're analysing different teams. I think there's definitely been that nine game block in the Prem was a slog. It was tough. It was hard, as all Prem matches are. But then there was sort of a little bit of excitement, freedom, different energy when it came to these European weeks. And you know what's like. You go back to your Prem weeks. You know what Bristol are going to do. You know what Chiefs are going to do. All this stuff. You've analysed them so much through the years. Not many teams change that much. Yeah. Whereas you're playing different teams, you're playing different players, the excitement around it, and there's always just been that little bit of extra this year, I think, around the European weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a weird one because you can't relate them. You don't know how it happens, but I think at the time the Challenge Cup came at a good time because obviously the Premiership wasn't going our way, and we still had something to fight for effectively when we started Europe, and look where we are now. I think also we haven't talked about is that this team should be playing Champions Cup rugby, and unfortunately we're not going to be able to do that with our league position. So the only way we can do that is go and win this thing. So for us, we want to be playing at the best standard against the best teams, and to do that, we've got to win this weekend. And like I keep saying, I'm really excited for what's to come on Friday.
Do you know there's a thing? So 10 years ago, don't you remember the last time the boys won it? Obviously, there's been a couple of finals since, and there's probably a moment where you step out of the Premiership sort of rigmarole, like you said, and when you're in this competition, the pressure has come off slightly. In the sense, not the pressure of who you're playing, but the media exposure in the rounds isn't as much, is it? And it gave boys a chance to sort of go, actually, we are good at rugby. Just because we're not going well in the Prem, we are good at rugby. We can beat teams.
Yeah, and you look at some of the performances we've had this year in this competition has been brilliant, and a lot of our best performances, especially you look at that Benetton game. Everyone talking about there's 21 internationals in that squad. We went and played our best game there, effectively, of listening to the game plan, individuals playing really well, doing what we're good at, and it's just, I think, like you say, it's just that little bit different. Whatever it is, it's a really good thing for the group. But like Zach said, we want to be playing Champions Cup, and this is our way into it as well.
Love it. I hadn't even thought about Champions Cup. Genuinely, I hadn't thought about what I have got.
As partnerships, that's good for you, Champions Cup.
Oh, it'd be a lot easier to sell.
If you that'd be good for him.
If you could do that for me,
get some more money.
He needs a Rangers Bull hoodie though.
Make conversation so much easier for me.
By the way, we're in the Champions Cup. We're on TV every week.
I'm just helping you out. If you could just personally, that, and then we get to enjoy the whole weekend. Yeah, please.
Oh God, yeah.
Please just do that. I've got some quick fire questions from the 4 big fans of the show. Simply put, Luds, do you see winning 2 times trophies as a successful season despite the league position? That's from Jim Jones, 1425.
Yes. I answered this on the EPCR website as well because they asked the same question actually.
It wasn't Jim, was it?
It could have been Jim, but in all honesty, like, go and ask or go and find another Gloucester player who's won 2 trophies in the season and ask them if it was a good season.
We'll ask someone from 1972, won't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Is that what it was?
you'd be doing
You'll
well.
know. 1972?
That'll do. Yeah, it sounds about right.
It's roughly
So
that, isn't it? I think
between
it's 70 or
1972 and now, no one's done it. So I'd say it's pretty good. Yeah.
Luds, do you think with the new signings we have enough strength and depth next season to avoid a repeat of 23-24? That is another positive question from Robert Collins.
Yeah, these are lovely questions.
These
Mark.
are,
Thank you. Who put these out?
Who's got these out?
Yeah, there's no lack of strength and depth this year. It's just when you get in that rut, you got to get out of it. And obviously, we did lose a lot of players. The ideal thing would be not to lose as many players, but that's sport. That happens. These things happen. I have no doubt the squad we have now or next year will be able to go into it, and fingers crossed we get into that Champions Cup and we can compete on a couple of fronts again.
To add on to your answer, it's 2 years of players who we didn't expect to play a lot of rugby, got a lot of rugby.
Yeah.
So at what point do those players, this is not on a question, this is a deep thinker.
Yeah.
At what point do those players then become their ready players?
I think
as opposed to it being,
yeah.
Once people got 30, 40 appearances, is that enough to go, now we're judging you as a real player?
100%.
Does it take, is that
it takes, I think,
I say real player in the most respectful way,
Yeah, you need to have a good 20-odd Premiership games under your belt before you can be like, right, he knows what he's doing now around the Premiership. He knows what to expect, and then you can want that from them every week and demand it. Whereas up until that point, you've still got to give them the grace of learning, being physical, having to get your body right week in, week out. All these things that it takes a long time to learn, and you know what it's like. It's difficult, isn't it?
20 games. That's actually, I had 4 man the matches by 20 games in.
No, I think
he did. Yeah, he's very different.
I think as well, fans have got to realise that, let's say, for example, no disrespect to these players, but like, you wouldn't have seen Seb Atkinson if we didn't have these injuries. You wouldn't have seen the Seb Blakes of the world. You probably wouldn't have seen Jamal put all the performances in that he has been doing if these injuries didn't happen. Clem, for example, you wouldn't have seen him playing in these games. So you've got to look at it as a positive, and ultimately it will come back and go, bloody hell, good job we had that depth.
And your build on that point is that these players that we're talking about, they then just become, they are now Premiership players, aren't they? So we can't start to carry on judging them as young players. They are Premiership players
100%,
now.
and they're on our tails as players in the team, and they want to start. So they're now pushing for places, and they're putting pressure on the likes of me, Luds, Chris Harris.
I'll tell you what, there's not a chance he'd have been voted for you player of the season. We know full well, Clem didn't vote for either of you two.
Why not?
I don't want to do a disservice. I don't know if Skivs has announced a team to you, but I've got the honour of letting you both know that you are both going to be playing, right? And here's the kicker. You are actually going to be playing in cherry and white.
Oh, here we go.
In a shirt that we've had
Proper
specially
kit.
made. If you can
Thanks to Oxford, my sponsors.
Pardon?
My scrum cap's also available in store.
No,
Sorry.
not your sponsors.
Okay, you're supposed to mention Bendak here.
Pardon?
You're supposed to mention Bendak here, aren't you?
Yeah, Bendap been the European sponsors right throughout the season.
Yeah. Autoair, my brilliant sponsors, Autoair.
There it is. Hold
Any
your
car
shirt
air
up.
conditioning, they'll sort you out.
Hold your shirt up, please.
There you go.
Let's see the new European shirt. There it is. Zach, let me see yours. Who's on the bottom of yours, Zach?
PDG. Thank you very much to Phil. Top bloke and the sport this season.
Do you know what? Honestly, they are looking special. Already engraved. Sean's got them done. I won't tell you who else is in the match day 23. That'll be a surprise for you for the end of the week.
Thank you.
But
Appreciate that.
I'll tell you off air.
Yeah.
Fellas, go well. We've got some European winners joining us on the sofa after these two clear off. Zach's got a haircut to get to.
Thank God.
Much needed.
Welcome back to Access All Areas, the European special. The more observant of you out there will have realised I got changed, sent those boys off to London, and we have on the sofa 2 legitimate Gloucester legends from years gone by. James Forrester, now CEO of the girls team, and Charlie Sharples, my financial advisor. Chaz, it worries me that you're not at work looking after the people of Cheltenham's money. What's going on?
I'm always happy to take an hour off work for one of my esteemed clients, mate.
I'm going to be moving around a lot because, seeing as this is the Gloucester studio, rain is falling.
Yeah, it's a very nice studio, but on
Apart from-
camera,
Massive budget must go into this.
yeah.
Just don't look
Hey,
up.
they've
Yeah?
thrown some money at it for you, to be fair, mate. Just didn't fix the leaks. That was the problem, hey.
Django, going back, obviously, we've all seen the footage this week, which you've hated being produced
Absolutely
again.
hated it.
It's a different. It's not in 4D, that is it? It's not. In,
So my daughter's sort of 13 and 15 now, and obviously quite active on social media. And when I got home last night, it was quite late. They were horrified. They showed me the video because they'd seen it, and they're like, "How old are you? It's so grainy."
well, the chip and goo, they didn't like it.
Well, you could hardly even see. I mean, it's like we're playing the 1920s. Yeah.
One camera angle for. But you must have some exceptional memories of those days. Obviously, we'll come on to that big moment, but just generally sort of semi-finals in Europe throughout the years. Gloucester have seemed to be successful. Obviously, our generation have reached a few of them, but seems to have been a positive competition for us.
Yeah, and I think that year we felt we had a really good team, really good group, and I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves that year to win the thing because we felt we wanted to push on sort of bigger, better things. I think the following year we did top the league, so for us it was let's go and win this thing. And yeah, we had a tough run. We had Worcester at home. We were playing really well at that time, but yeah, final great memories. They're the days you live for. I mean, I really struggle to remember much of my rugby, like games and tries and things like that. But I do remember big parts of that day, the game, the aftermath, the beers afterwards, the bus home. Yes,
What was it? What the next few days look like?
yeah, good fun. I do. Main memory.
You're allowed to say anything.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Lot of fun is over in the change rooms. They're the best bits. I do remember. I think Jack Adams, who sadly isn't with us anymore. His mate, who was 18, wanted to come on the bus. And so I think Luke Narroway took over the situation. Said, yeah, mate, you can come on the bus. You can come on the bus. So you can imagine this 18-year-old.
That's the bully.
Yeah, this 18-year-old lad's got on the Gloucester Cup-winning bus back to Gloucester. He had missed his train or something. And Luke Narroway then made him his footstool for the whole way home. Literally made him go on all fours and treated him as a footstool. So, yeah, then I think headed into Cheltenham, usual fun, yeah.
Brilliant. And I think that'll probably be me on Saturday night or Friday night, actually. I think I've probably already eyed a space up on the bus back from Tottenham.
Yeah.
Charles, what about you?
Doing the John Terry full kit.
Oh, it'll be somewhere.
Have you played in Europe this year?
It'll be somewhere. No, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't.
Mate, details.
Just small details.
Details don't matter.
Maybe at the front of a trophy lift if there is
They'll want
one.
me on. They'll want me on the bus, won't they, Chaz?
Yeah, footstool. Make a good
I
footstool.
won't be doing foot. I'll be having my feet on someone. Charles, what about you? Big memories. We had some obviously big performances, especially semi-finals. What sort of stands out on your cup runs to those finals?
Yeah, I was actually looking through the fixtures this morning because I couldn't remember that was such a weird year. That was the year where we had the really strange European place playoff at the end of the season, if you remember, because I was getting all the games confused in my head because we played Connacht in the quarterfinal at home, and then it was Chiefs in the semis, which I couldn't remember who had played in the semis.
Tom Savage, man of the match. Yeah.
Do you remember that, or have you just looked at you?
No, I remember that. Yeah, he doesn't get many man of the matches, does he? Big South?
I can remember. I can't remember anything from that game. I was playing fullback in that game, and then obviously fullback in the final as well. I do remember obviously the final at the Stoop, and obviously Meeksy getting it was one of those where I can't remember who Edinburgh did they beat someone. Who did they beat to get through? I just remember them being
you haven't really done your research, have you?
No, I haven't. Sorry, I'm terribly underprepared. But they were that was the team that you thought, okay, they're the ones you'd rather have in the final.
Yeah.
And so I think the way we were playing, I felt anyway, like confident, like that's a game, that's a winnable game, and we would have been hopefully the favourites going into it. And we were things were going well, and then Meeksy got red carded.
Never has a man been so happy to get a red card. His social media profile went through the roof post red card.
But obviously decided to make things pretty difficult for ourselves. And then obviously the last 5 minutes, I just remember them still. It never felt like they were going to win it, but they still had some good players in their team and the capacity to score at any point.
And then rugby aside, Chaz, come on, what what was the next few days like for us? I'll pretend I wasn't there. So
Yeah,
I'll allow
so
you to
well,
answer.
we had bus trip back from London, obviously. I can't remember. We must have gone out that night. I remember we met up at the Sanford Ale House on the following day, and we had like the hat social with. We got all the pictures in the hat. Ended up in the retreat. The trophy got thrown around. It's a rugby ball shape, so it got thrown around quite a bit like a rugby ball.
We to replace the trophy, didn't
Well,
we?
we didn't realise. I thought they just give you the like a replica trophy, especially when you're going to be out on the. But no, as it transpires, that's the one that gets put in the trophy cabinet of
I
the
think
club.
I slept with that trophy that night. So I woke up to like 20 missed calls from our team manager going, "Where is the trophy?" Because these trophies are worth a lot of money. I sent an email for a replica of the PWR trophy. And the quote was £25,000. I was like,
Mate, we got billed, so the damage that, not naming any names, Trevor Woodman, lobbing it around in the retreat, and it got all dented up like the rugby ball bit, which we didn't even realise. And then a few weeks later, they all us because there was like £3,000. They had to send it off and get £3,000 worth
they're
of.
worth a lot of money.
But I didn't realise. I just assumed that was like a plastic one, and they give you the real one to keep in the cabinet. But somehow you say yours. Fun. I never remembered this, but when the boys were playing the last European game, I was looking through some photos from when we won it, and there's some great photos and videos from the night
John
out.
Muggerton getting ours that on a bottle of vodka.
I got one of Hooky singing as well. I'm forgetting the words to the song. But there was randomly a photo of the trophy in my kitchen, so I must have taken it home as well. I didn't even realise I took it home that night as well.
You obviously felt two Gloucester greats. What? And we're allowed the trophies. Us
Two responsible men, mate. That's it.
That's what that is. You both obviously played your whole careers at Gloucester. What made you either stay in the colours? Obviously, yours ended sort of prematurely, Django. Charles, yours because nobody came in to get you out of your contract here. But what made you sort of keep committing to the club? Obviously, you never know. Yours might have ended differently, Django. But what made you keep staying here?
I love the place. Obviously, we had some really good times. We had some good years. Won some silverware. I think I'll always reflect. Bit of a regret that we never won a sort of major one. We topped the league a couple of times and won some cups in the European Shield. But I think we had a really strong squad, great management. Obviously, all the great stuff we all know about Gloucester and Kingsholm. The atmosphere can't be beaten. So, to be honest, I don't think I ever really thought about leaving. It was never remotely on the agenda. So, I always felt like we were building something pretty special here. We were largely there or thereabouts in terms of league position stuff. So, yeah.
You never know. You'd probably a couple of years in France at the back end of that, wouldn't you? If you needed held on.
I say that my agent was all over everywhere, but no one was interested. So that's the real reason.
What are you, Chaz? You did 15 years. What, just kept loving the place, born and bred?
Yeah, I think I realised sort of early on actually, and it was a conversation that I had with your agent, who was my agent at the time, and your mate Largy, and he was telling me about a guy in Ireland and who'd stayed at the same club. Anyway, the crux of it was basically like, it depends what you put value on, and everyone's different. And for me, I didn't necessarily put value on earning as much money as I could in my career, where some people will leave a contract because they get offered $5,000 more at another club, and that person could be on 200 grand. And that did happen. There's been cases of that have happened in the past. I just thought, actually, how do you put a price on being happy where you are, like living in the area, having lots of friends and family there that could come and watch you, and then playing for a team that you actually care about? And obviously, look, there would have been a price on it, but I never explored it. Everyone has a price, but I think when you're looking at it actually objectively, would I have ever been offered a contract that was so significant that I would have been like, oh, I'll leave all of that? No, I wouldn't have, because no one was coming in for Chaz for £500,000 in Japan, were they?
You're saying is you're not money driven, and you're not money driven. That is not what I want to hear from my financial advisor, Chaz. This is the last thing, right? Any financial advisors watching, please get involved. We're about to. We spoke to Zach and Ludge yesterday, and they said obviously the squad, the coaches, everyone's bound to say it's just another game. It's just we don't focus on. But what would you be saying to people, the boys who've never played in the final? Because I think there's part of me that has to embrace the fact it's a final. You can't just go down there and say, oh, it's another game at Tottenham on a Friday night. What would you be saying to your teammates there, Django, if you were in that spot there as a senior player?
I think I'd just be talking about belief. I mean, you look at the Sharks squad. It's very, very strong. Set piece is obviously going to be key, but this team, our Gloucester team, have absolutely got the ability to win this game. So I'd just be talking about that. Believe in yourselves. Don't, it is a final, but don't do anything different. You're in the team for a reason. Your coaches, your mates believe in you. So I just think it's that big belief pit. Got to win the set piece on Friday night. That's obviously key. But we've got players all over the park that can have an impact and change a game. So yeah, just that belief piece.
We've got another number 8 at the moment who is capable of a break from outside break and a chip and goo, isn't it, to win a game? There's not many like it. Would you say we touched on it before actually? Would you say you've not seen many number 8s like yourself? Is Zach one of the closest that you may have seen to the James Forrester of old?
Yeah, I was maybe a bit of probably a failed back, I would say, in that era.
So's Zach. Yeah.
So look, I think Zach's fantastic player. I mean, French Player of the Year. I always talk about fandom. I grew up actually a massive Chelsea fan. I was probably more into my football, and Dad and I used to go to Stamford Bridge. And I remember when we signed Hullet, who had won World Player of the Year. Everything changed. Then a year or two later, Gianfranco Zola, and I remember saying, Dad, can we go to more games? Can we go to more games? And someone like Zach has that ability to bring people through the gates and inspire people. And of course, has the ability to massively impact a game like Friday. So I think he's a fantastic player.
And your old chum is still going, isn't he, Chaz? He's on the other wing. He was in the back three with you the night that we won it 9-10 years ago.
Yeah, last man standing is
the last man standing. Yeah. What would you be saying to him? His final outing in a cherry and white shirt.
I think it's probably when and we all know from when we played rugby, you get caught up in the process and the grind going through the week and all the analysis and the expectation, the pressure and everything that happens on the weekend. And sometimes you never really get the chance to sort of remove yourself from that situation and think how amazing this is and what an amazing thing it will be to go and play a final at Tottenham. So I think just being able to be present and enjoy that moment in what will be his last game in the Gloucestershire. And I never got to choose my last game. You never knew your last game for Gloucester or you. We didn't know what was going to be our last game. So to actually have a position where you can go out there and be very mindful that it's your last time you get to wear the shirt and just enjoy it and just embrace it without getting caught up in all the pressure. Because I think when I reflect on my career, so much of it is you're just in the whirlwind of rugby and you never actually remove yourself from that situation and think that once upon a time you were that kid in the academy or that kid in the shed who dreamed of playing for Gloucester, and you're suddenly just thinking about, I've got to win the game. I hope I don't get injured. I hope I play well. And it's quite easy to get caught up in that.
Do you know what I'll be saying to our mate? Turn up to your first end of season social in 15 years. That's what I'll be saying to him.
He's got no excuse now.
No excuse now.
Excuse.
No,
it's actually his son's first birthday party on the Sunday, so
first
he
one
won't be doing the double
years.
header.
First one, he needs to turn up to.
He'll get at least one night.
Django, it's brilliant to have you on the sofa. I think we just need to touch on, before you leave, touch on where the girls are at the moment, how you feel the season's going. Obviously, massive game this weekend.
Yeah, obviously, girls have gone really well this season. Very lucky. We've got a really talented group, great staff as well. Yeah, obviously we haven't lost a game this year yet, so can't get much better than that. But we're just focused on performance, momentum. Yes, we know it's going to be a really tough game away at Sarries this weekend, but we just want to keep building. A lot of focus obviously on the semi, so big call to action. 9th of June, 4:30. We've got a semi-final. Girls worked so hard to get that home semi. We know how important home semi-finals are. We're going to be playing Exeter or Bristol. We don't know who. Either way, it'll be incredibly tough. Both very good sides. So we really need that sort of 16th man or lady. King's Home. Either or.
All welcome.
Either or. But yeah, we know what difference the crowd makes. And so yeah, please do come along, buy a ticket. Girls will put on a hell of a show, and they're so proud of representing this city, and I think they deserve a really big crowd on the 9th.
Same applies to anyone staying down in London, going to the game on the Friday night, staying down in London. Sarries is North London.
Come and watch
Go and put a
Sarries,
few fans in the Sarries ground.
Absolutely, yeah.
But no, it's been great to have you both on and relive some good memories of yesteryear. Yeah, we thank you for coming on and look forward to seeing you both on Friday night.
Cheers, Aki.
Thanks,
Looking forward
Aki.
to it.
There it is. That was the European special. I can't wait for Friday night. I know the Cherry and White fans deserve this big night out. Let's see you there. Make some noise. The boys will match you for it. The energy's going to be amazing. See you at Tottenham.